It is 7 o'clock, so we get started. So, call to order, skip the approval of the minutes and go right to the new business, which is, the hearing for special exception. The records show that we have 2 alternates and 4 regular members. So the alternates will be involved in discussion, but not voting. So, let's see, I guess we can start here. Case number 2026-1, special exception, and request from Brian Magoon involving tax map 226, lot 2 on Route 106, located in the commercial zone, and the proposed use states large signage, application references Article 2.6. That's about it. So the process is pretty simple. You tell us what you're intending to do, and we can discuss the zoning board, or the ordinance with you, what the requirements are. If you're not too aware, it sounds like you might have some questions. But we'll do that. Then if there is anybody here, we would go to folks in opposition, then folks in support, and then come back to you, and then we would repeat that process. It looks like it's gonna be a little bit abbreviated tonight because there is no one here, unless there's someone that's online. So, that's kind of it. And really because there's no one else here, board members can ask questions at any time. Normally, if this was going on, board members can, but I think the people that are here to vote, are not those observe and engage, cannot. So hopefully that's less confusing than I think it sounded. So yeah, why don't you tell us what you want to do for signage?
Excuse me, Jen, before we start, it's hard to tell from the application, is the sign going on a building or is it a freestanding sign?
It would be on a stand,
So not on a building?
not on a building.
Right, so I have a question for the board. What's the reason for a special exception? The rule says on a building is when you need a special exception, not a freestanding sign.
Well, I think it's the question is that whether or not it's gonna conform to the requirements for a sign. That was what I was assuming, it was not conforming.
But I can't tell from the application because
I
there's
can't
no
either,
sign,
so that, we have to get through that to find out if it's not conforming.
Alright,
Okay.
So yeah, just if you could describe the signage that you're intending to construct.
Sure, so right now it's raw land, I have a driveway permit, it's on a state road, so I have a driveway permit issued. I'm thinking in this spring, I'll have a driveway installed. And I read 10 square feet is the maximum sign, so I'd like to get a larger than 10 square feet. Went to a sign company, the biggest they could make is pretty much 10 feet by 5 feet. I'm fine with that. Two-sided, it would be two-sided, and it would be near the driveway. Partially for advertising, but also if I was to do something there, maybe for ease of people coming in, wouldn't plan to have customers going there, but.
So it's just so people can identify your business generally?
Yeah, and just advertising.
Is it, would it be illuminated?
I'm not planning to have it illuminated.
Okay.
It'd be out of the right of way. And I did put up a sign that is conforming already. It's 10 square feet. Pretty small because it's 55-mile-an-hour road. Yeah. I mean, it's. And I have a mock-up.
That's great.
Pretty standard, pass around if I need to, but it just looks like a job site sign,
So the width is the 10 feet, the height is the 5 feet.
yeah.
I'm assuming it's gonna stand taller than the 10, since the, how tall is it gonna be, I guess?
This says 52 inches.
But off the ground, total off the ground.
I could make it conforming.
Yeah.
10 feet, is that right?
Yeah.
Under?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm sorry, it's 52 by 10.
Well, 120 inches, 10 feet.
Yeah.
52 inches
Inches
tall.
by 10 feet.
So it's roughly the size of the inner circle, right? Like, maybe a little
No,
bit
that's-
smaller?
Smaller than that,
Yeah,
not small.
Oh, so that's not big at all.
Maybe 2 tables?
right, I think these are what, 6?
Yeah, it's a little more than 2 feet, upper than 2.5, maybe it's 3,
Yeah.
It's a little bit longer than the table and probably,
Right,
a little
Oh,
wide.
so yeah,
A
this
little bit
isn't
wider
very
than
big at
mine.
all.
No,
Yeah.
5 by 10's not huge. I don't know what that chalkboard is.
I did say the chalkboard's probably pretty close.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
Be a little
Maybe a
bigger.
little bit short, a little bit
Little bit
longer.
bigger, but not much.
longer,
Like
yeah.
the width would be about the same, like, I guess.
Would there be any lighting on, I know the sign itself wouldn't be illuminated, but would there be lighting on it at night, or?
I'm not planning on it, I don't need that. I don't have customers come in,
In the middle of the night, yeah.
yeah. But,
Questions for, we'll discuss. Normally, like I say, we go to folks that were here that are not positioned.
Will that be your color scheme? A
yeah,
white background with your, yeah,
yeah, maybe, I don't know what the frame would be, probably just 4x4 wood. I don't really know specifically where it'd be, but on my property and near the driveway. It's a straightaway.
Yeah, and anything you say, as far as the dimensions and not necessarily the wording or anything, but generally what the sign's gonna be, not illuminated, that's what we approve or disapprove. So if you wanna do something different than that later on, you need to come back. If it's something that doesn't conform with the zoning ordinance, just so you know.
Yeah. I don't need illumination or over 10 feet, if it's the size,
Okay.
I think is the issue.
And you can always come back, but you just would need to get off or say approval from, you need to do another special exception. Anybody else have any questions? Wanna close the hearing portion and get into the discussion? Alright. Anybody have a problem with this?
I don't think so, it seems,
I think it'd probably be the smallest sign on 106.
yeah, it
They
seems
might
ridiculous
try.
on like he's stating, that on a high-speed road,
Yeah.
have a sign that size is,
No, I think
inadequate.
what we've
Yeah.
approved for the racetrack that's nearby is bigger than that.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with it. So, does someone wanna make a motion so I don't have to talk?
That may be on the last time, Sean's turn.
'Cause there are and you filled them out in your application, but there are the different criteria for a special exception,
Probably should go over
which
that
I
criteria.
think at this point we are doing as well now, right? Cause we went from doing it to not doing it, now we're back to doing it.
I think we do have to do it.
So I think that can cover it, in terms of making Brian, stumble through.
you wanna stumble through?
You can if you want. It's up to you, if you would like to read through the different, requirements and your response, we need to enter it into the record.
Okay. Special exemption is requested for large signage. The special exemption is requested from Article 2.6. I guess I don't have a section listed.
It should be the different conditions for it, they're numbered,
Yeah, 1 through 7.
Yeah.
that's really what we're doing,
Yeah.
That granting the permit would be in the public interest, that thing? Advertising, local business, primary purpose. Describe how the proposed use would not adversely affect the property values in the district. So it's commercially zoned and abutters already have large signage. So it fits into where it is. That the specific site is an appropriate location for the proposed use. I figured it's a straight line of sight for the people going by. If they don't wanna look, they don't even have to. No bother. That the proposed use would not adversely affect the health and safety of the residents and others in the area, and would not be detrimental to the use or development of adjacent or neighboring properties. So only businesses within sight would see it, and that would be the track and the storage unit, so their business is already with signs, so I'm just,
It's not gonna block view of anything for traffic, and it's not gonna have be if that's glare, it's a hazard,
correct.
just a sign, as you said.
So that the proposed use would not constitute a nuisance because of offensive noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odors, heat, glare, or unsightliness. So I think it would be a basic sign, no illumination. So not a nuisance at all. Almost expected of a business to have a sign, but that granting of the permit would be in the spirit of the ordinance. I put, it's fitting for the area, it matches the commercial zoning and other businesses. That the proposed use would not constitute a hazard because of traffic, hazardous materials, or other conditions. So it's off the shoulder of the road, it's gonna be 50 feet off the center line of the road, likely at that point.
Yeah, so, these are very, they're all they're generic, I mean, they're set up for anything that comes through with a special exception, so, yeah, hazardous chemicals, it doesn't apply here. Yeah, we have to go through the process.
Sure.
Alright, so, we did have a motion to approve. I think we did that, right? I'm not remember.
Yeah, I'll motion to approve.
Okay, that's second. Okay.
Who's seconding? Web, are you seconding? Okay,
Right.
okay, who's gonna go through it? Are we done?
Well, I think we are supposed to go through it as well. I think we're kind of botching how I'm doing this, but, I think we are supposed to still leave it ourselves and say, the motion, originally, the first motion should be, that you motion to approve the case number. Yeah, so kind of go through that process, so kind of, I kind of botched this, just go back on this, I have to do that. No more code.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve case number 2026-1, special exception for the application involves tax map 226, lot 2, located on Route 106. Located in a commercial zone, the purpose, use states large signage, the application references article 2.6. I made a motion to approve, seconded, is there anything just to add?
No, just to run through the conditions, because I think we are supposed to be doing
Okay.
that as well.
The 7 conditions,
So,
yeah. The granting of the permit would be in the public interest, advertising a local business, the signage is common for that area. Describe how the proposed use would not adversely affect the property values in the district. Like I said, signage is typical for that area. The specific site is appropriate location for the proposed use. Signage is typical for that road. The proposed use would not adversely affect the health and safety of the residents and others in the area and would not be detrimental to the use or development of adjacent or neighboring properties. The sign was gonna be put in a safe spot, 50 feet off the center line, without lighting, just a standard sign. The proposed use would not constitute a nuisance because of offensive noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odor, heat, glare, or unsightliness. Again, it's just a basic sign. None of those conditions. The granting of the permit would be in the spirit of the ordinance, it is fitted for the area, and not untypical. The proposed use would not constitute a hazard because of traffic, hazardous materials or other conditions. No, it would not, so.
Thank you. And now you're, Webber seconded it. All in favor? Aye. Any contrary minded? So it's approved, you have 30-day, there's a 30-day appeal for about the period where someone could come to the board and make an appeal that we rule on this incorrectly. But that seems highly unlikely at this point here. So the whole process right there,
Okay,
so thanks for coming.
Thank you.
is this good for the year or indefinitely?
Indefinitely.
Definitely.
Okay.
And it goes with the property. But it is, you know, again, it has to be, as you described it tonight, you know, no bigger than 10 by, 5 by 10 or 10 by 5. And, you know, not illuminated like that, you know, as you described it, so that's the main thing on it.
Yep,
If you wanna change it, you can come back.
certainly, easy enough,
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you.
So, does anyone have, or does everyone have a chance to take a look at the November minutes?
Seems like so long ago, but
I know.
I don't think I was here for November.
Oh, well, you don't have to look.
Is my name on it? I don't remember.
Open up my laptop again.
When was this? Nope, I didn't have anything.
Motion to approve the minutes is written, or do you need more time?
I just want to make sure I saw my phone and my emails, right?
Take your time.
That was with the ADU.
Sunday, November 30th at 5:33
Was
p.m.
that the ADU?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't vote on it.
You weren't here.
This right here,
I
yeah.
was here. I wasn't voting on it, but. Or is it not use these applications sometimes? Used to use these applications.
It's, that person. She did this and she does the, planning.
Yeah, I remember it.
Gallons of tea.
Okay, yeah. Fine, yeah, I'm good, I approve it.
Motion then?
Yes, I get to approve, yeah.
Maybe, no second again then?
Do I have to?
Oh, you know, if you feel it's in your
I
heart,
sound
if it's in your heart to do it. You know, otherwise I wouldn't try and make it. All in favor of approving of the minutes?
Aye.
Contrary minded? They're approved. Alright, yeah, I think that's it. The only thing I was gonna mention is just to remember, if you haven't, to read through what's the policy called?
Bylaws.
The bylaws are being, our bylaws are still, we're
Are
waiting for,
Reading,
Still.
yeah,
yeah, she hasn't been able to get that finished yet.
And isn't there a meeting coming up for the right to know?
Yeah.
And my
Yes.
understanding is if we've been to the previous one, we just have to go to this one and she's gonna update us on some of the stuff and then we can leave.
I hope so.
that's my understanding as well.
Okay. Alright.
But we also have our own bylaws that we were gonna prepare, but Cal was helping us do that, and she just hasn't been able to get it,
To get
a
it.
draft together first, cause I think we were talking about that initially back in August or something like that.
Yeah,
So it's still hanging out there. No, I was gonna say I can't remember now, the good behavior policy. So make sure you read that, just in case you haven't, which I think, is that part of it? That's not even over there, right? No,
that's meetings.
That's meetings, yeah. I thought it was gonna be posted down
It
here.
should be posted.
It's here somewhere. If it's not, it's supposed to have been. It was gonna be laminated and I'm not sure it made it back.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
So I think under the zoning RSA's, that we are supposed to vote that the application is complete before we open it up to the applicant.
Oh.
Because any zoning board meeting I've ever been to have always, in planning board, unless they have to vote that the application is complete.
It's completed.
This application is not complete.
no,
And it's hard when you've got someone, a town resident, who's a business owner, to sit here and say it's an incomplete application, because we have a town person who's supposed to be reviewing this. and
exactly.
It should have been complete before it even got to us. So moving forward, we need to have a motion as a complete application. And this one here, if we did it the way we should be doing it, I would have voted not a complete application.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna speak to Michelle and remind her that it's
She's gotta have a complete job.
It's gotta be
Yeah.
completed before, yeah.
And it's unfair for the applicant to come in here and
And be turned away.
get turned away
Yeah.
and spend $400 for an application
Yeah.
because it's not complete.
Now, and we've had some where we have had to do that.
Yeah.
Because they were so egregiously incomplete and were more significant than this.
Right, I mean, this here is a sign, it's no big deal to me. The approval is appropriate,
Yeah,
but if someone was here and they're opposing it, and you had a butter
right,
that didn't want it, because it's an incomplete application, they could appeal it and they would win every time.
Right, they'd have grounds for an administrative appeal, yeah.
Right, so either she's gotta do a better job of what she's doing, or she's gotta find someone else that can do a better job.
I will remind her that it's gotta be gone over with a better comb.
If
She just reviewed it and got back to the applicant saying, you need this, this, and the other thing.
because and then on the website, you know, it's misleading, because on the website, there's I thought I printed off, where it says the instructions, see page 2, but there's no page 2 when you download it from the website, it's only the front page.
It's only the front page.
So it doesn't, I don't know what page 2 is.
Okay.
And then when
That
you read the application they're signing, some of this stuff doesn't even pertain to the sign, so maybe they should go through and come up with a checklist related to signs and some of the other things that are in here, to make sure it's complete.
yeah, it's tough because signs are an easy one to parse out, others are not, so.
Right. Well, that's why if this is, signs is easy, and I go back to when we had that, the conversion from to the alcohol rehab center.
Mm.
You know, that was such a controversial
Oh, yeah.
application.
Yeah.
So,
Yep,
No, and if you
Points
feel,
taken,
you know, if
yeah.
any board member feels like we shouldn't proceed, you know, it is appropriate to interject that.
but
But I agree, but that's kinda how I felt about it, it didn't make sense this was too simple
right,
and, you know,
but it can't go on.
no, because
Okay, yeah,
that's why I started and asked if it's on the building, because I don't know if it's on the building.
Right.
I don't even know the size of it before he came in tonight, we should have that before he even gets here.
okay.
no, all we knew was it was
A sign,
a sign,
Sign.
yeah, large sign, so.
And
All right.
considering that how everyone wants to hire an attorney to do something nowadays,
Yeah,
we have to do a better job at making sure we protect the town and ourselves.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
volunteers on the board.
No, I know she just
Yeah.
needs to really understand, look at the ordinance and understand what is really the intent of it, because otherwise it would be, you know, she won't necessarily know everything that really.
But,
yeah.
right,
What, you know, what are the defining characteristics of a sign that we care about? And it would come out of the ordinance, so
It
you have to go
should.
back to the ordinance
right,
each time and look at that reference section and say, does this really meet that criteria?
right.
So, or at least, you know.
it shouldn't be that hard, you
No.
know, to do.
No, it needs to be done better, and it is supposed to be part of the process already.
Yeah.
So,
The other thing too is I think, as far as a quorum, I think we should have an odd number. The only reason I say that is if there's a tie.
Yeah,
I think if it's a tie, it gets denied.
I think you're right.
I think it gets denied if it's a
I
tie.
think that's right, yeah. Yeah, I think
Um,
we haven't in the past because numbers of people available.
Right, I'm just saying, cause like it was, what, we had 4 members?
Yeah.
We could have had one of the alternates,
We could, in
you
that
know,
case.
made it 5.
And so you can designate an alternate to make it an odd
Yeah.
number.
Right,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just thinking it would be
No, that's
better that way.
yeah, that's a good point.
As I think if almost, if it's a tie, it doesn't get denied.
Yeah, I think you're right, we should in the future do that way.
Have an odd.
Yeah.
A quorum is 3, so it can't be a tie, that is a quorum, that's the minimum.
So what you could do is as chair, you could abstain from voting, if you didn't have, say, you didn't have an alternate here to make the 5th person.
Mhm.
I think the chair's allowed, you have to go down with the RSA, I think the chair's allowed not to vote, and they can use a vote at the end.
I think, yeah,
Oh, okay, so if we had 4, I would not vote
Right.
unless it was necessary.
you would just run the
Yeah.
business,
You would run business.
you would run the meeting.
But tonight, we wouldn't have had a quorum. If
We have
Jim.
Oh, we would because we have alternates.
If-
alternate.
But if Jim abstained with the 4 members, that would only leave 3,
It's
and
still
that's
3, that's still a quorum. Minimum
of our body.
is 3,
So I think
Is
what
a
he's
quorum.
saying is if only you 4 were here, cause they say you're
Right,
yeah.
alternates.
Yeah.
You could be bumped up and
Right.
then he would
Yes.
abstain.
Okay,
Right,
gotcha, okay,
Yeah.
alright,
it just,
Just the alternates, it's just one, right, just.
It's you, right?
I'm an
Oh,
alternate,
you're not the chair.
I'm a standing alternate on
Yeah,
this board, because there's been so many years when we didn't have enough board members,
Gotcha.
so.
No, I think those,
Doing it
these are all
heels
things,
dancing backwards.
I think both those issues are things that need to be, in our,
Yeah.
procedures. That they are still waiting to kind of get that process, but yeah, hopefully we can all be in here Sunday. Spend an hour or two.
go through that, yeah.
Thanks,
Anyway, motion
everybody.
adjourned?
Happy Easter, or
Second.
whenever it is
All right.
that you do that weekend.